All right, I'm going to show you how to get this cool analog dither effect natively in Blender. And all you got to do to achieve this is you got to download the newest version of Blender, Blender 5.2, and it's going to be acting off some compositor nodes. I'm just going to go over the scene setup real quick. It's just a close-up of a model, but all I have is just this model here. I have a light directly above it and one directly to the back of it to give it some nice subtle rim lighting. To get started, you're going to need to open the Compositor tab, and you can either render out image and then go in the compositor and do it here, or you can do it on the preview method, and I'll just show you how to do that real quick. So all you do to preview it is you go to the rendered viewport over here, the fourth bubble on the right, and just hit this drop down, and then you'll see this little compositor menu down here, and you want to turn it on camera always, which allows you to preview the compositor. But to get started, once you open the compositor, you hit new. You're going to have these selections down here of some styles, and you'll have a little download arrow over it. You can just left click on it, and if you don't see that, Blender 5.2, you go to edit, preferences, system, and make sure under network online access is enabled, and this allows you to access online asset libraries that you can just drag into Blender instead of having to download it and go through that whole process. So you have this little dithering node here, and I'm just going to drop it in like this, and as you can already see, let me extend this out, it gives it this dithery pixely effect. You'll see this on like CRT or old stuff. It's how they displayed images back in the day. But you get to mess with all these like new styles. You have, Bayer 2x, 4x, 8x, and these other two options, blue noise and white noise. If you want more of that native dithery effect, I'd stick to the Bayer style. I did 4.4 on mine. You can see if you zoom in, you can see the effect taking place. And if you drag up the pixelate amount, this just makes it more mosaic entirely. And then the color amount just kind of gives it more of an opacity. As you can see, if I up it, you can still see the dithery effect in there. It's more of, it's just not as prevalent. It's not as harsh on the shadows. You can see if I bring it to like 2. And then the other node I used was another one in Blender 5.2 is the night vision node. Let's drag this in here. As you see, it kind of simulates night vision, and then you get all of these properties that you can mess with on the node. You can also like do some cool depth mist stuff with this as well. If you like render a mist pass out and plug it into here on the depth darken. But these are the really cool effects here. These are really the analog ones: is signal, distort, glare, flicker, and degrade. I'm just gonna go bottom to top. So degrade, this gives yours like a blur and just it makes it more of like a lower quality. If you're going for that look, I'd keep this on. You can mess with these parameters if you want more of a clean look, but still this degrade look. You can set the blur size to 1 and like put the pixel size to like 1 or 2. You see, it's already a cleaner look. And then this just allows you to add noise. It's pretty nice in here. You can see it takes a lot of the glare and just kind of blends it in a bit better. And the next one's a flicker node. It's kind of self-explanatory. See if I bring the timeline up here, and if I put the factor all the way up, it's like it's a very like the flicker starts getting faster. So you can mess with these parameters here, get the flicker to what you want. And the glare node, it's kind of self-explanatory too. It's the glow and just the glare of this node. All it is just this glare node here plugged into here. But this allows you to just control the bloom, the glow on your render. The next one is signal distort. This, as you can see, there's these little lines in here. You can see like these little pixel sorted lines. So this is just that effect in place, and you can mess with the parameters, so on and so forth. I kept mine very minimal, but depending on the look you're going for, you can change it to how you like. The last one I'm gonna go over is the tint. You can see if I mess it around, it messes with the color. And the night vision really only works on monochrome or just one color. So like if you try to mix, you can't really, add 2 colors in there. I mean, you could probably try with a mixed color node, but you might get some issues. So you see if I make it all white like this, see it's a nice cleaner look, but there's still some of that green in there. It's like, what if I want to get that out? I mean, the best way I can think of really trying to get that out is add a mixed color node and just messing with these blend modes. But if you're trying to set it to white, it's going to have this native green tint baked into this node. I try to go in here and mess with some of this stuff, but the good solution I found was just using a mixed node. But if you find another solution, feel free to drop in the comments below. But yeah, if you don't like the tint color you're getting on this, you can also mess with this mixed color node as well. Maybe you kind of want the tint to be more blue. You kind of want to keep some of this red in there. You can mess with the colors, mess with the blend modes, so on and so forth. So that looks pretty clean. Not gonna lie, it looks pretty nice. Forgot to mention too, this also works in the viewport. So you can see I'm in the viewport here. You get some sick shots with this, and preview some shots. I'm like, not gonna lie, this looks pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that's just a rough overview of how I got this cool analog dither effect. All you need is Blender 5.2. So want to make some cool, CRT stuff or analog stuff, and you don't have After Effects, this is a good alternative pipeline to achieving this look. I'm definitely going to be, using this forward. These are some nice nodes you go on. It's not even to go over some of the other nodes like the paint filter here. It's a pretty cool node that you can use. But other than that, I hope this helped you and have a good one.